So I'm not an icebreaker person, the get to know you thing. I don't want to come up with a surface level get to know you activity, and I also don't want to participate in one. I'm the person who tries to figure out how to escape before anyone notices. Anyone else like that? Okay, see some nods. But there is one icebreaker I'm always up for called a penny for your thoughts. A group of people sit around a table with a bowl of coins in the center. Each person chooses a coin, looks at the years, and shares a memory of something that happened to them in that year. When I lived in Charlottesville, I was part of a women's clergy circle, and we began every gathering with the coin exercise. Sometimes it took a little effort for me to pick a coin that wasn't before I was alive. It was not a particularly young group of people. But once I found my coin, it was as if I held a precious gem in my hand. Because the coin now contained a story, maybe more than one. How would I tell it? Sometimes the exercise was easy. 2001, my bat mitzvah year. The year I decided I would become a rabbi. I know that is weird. Sometimes it was hard. 1994, the year my parents got divorced. When the year on my coin led to a painful memory, I had to decide if I had the emotional capacity to go back there. Should I try to ignore or avoid it, or think of something different? Should I share the memory? If so, what exactly should I share? How could this memory serve me and the women listening to my story? As I think about it, a penny for your thoughts was a miniature version of something we do on a much grander scale throughout our lives. We look back on our past and decide what, if anything, we could or should do with those memories and stories. As Jews, we are a people of memory. As the people of the book, we tell stories all the time, over and over again. A lot of these stories are stories of hardship and pain. Think about our holidays. Hanukkah, destruction. Passover, slavery. Purim, attempted extermination. Most in the Jewish community take for granted that it's our responsibility to remember some of the worst moments in our history and ensure future generations don't forget them. The role of memory becomes a little bit confusing when we look at this week's Torah portion. Our parsha mentions Amalek, the worst enemy of the Israelite people. And the very last lines of our parsha say, and I want to read them word for word for you, if my music stand will cooperate with me. Remember what Amalek did to you on your journey after you left Egypt. How, undeterred by fear of God, he surprised you on the march when you were famished and weary and cut down all the stragglers in your rear. Therefore, when your God Adonai grants you safety from all your enemies around you, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. So let's review. Remember what Amalek did to you. Blot out the memory of Amalek. Do not forget. If this does not make sense to you, you're not alone. The text appears to completely contradict itself. What's the takeaway? Are we to remember Amalek or forget Amalek? Erase the memory or preserve the memory? Lately, I've been following Rabbi Yehuda Kurtzer of the Hartman Institute. I've been particularly struck by his thoughts on memory and Judaism, and I'm sorry, Jeff, because I know I make you listen to me talk about what I hear from him. Rabbi Kurtzer posits that even if we wanted to erase the past, we don't know how to do the future without a version of it. He wonders to what extent our memories impact how we understand our present and our future. Do our memories sometimes limit our ability to imagine new possibilities for the future? But if we forget, what wisdom and lessons might we lose? I think this tension lies at the very heart of the Amalek paradox. Remember Amalek because Amalek rose up to destroy us when we were at our weakest. Remember Amalek because there is real evil in our world and we are vulnerable. Remember Amalek because surely other Amaleks will come to annihilate us. Remember Amalek because we overcame our enemies and we will overcome again. But blot out the memory of Amalek because if we remember, we might live in constant fear. Blot out the memory of Amalek because if we remember, we might imagine dangerous enemies lurking behind every corner. Blot out the memory of Amalek because we might unfairly label others as Amalek, or God forbid, inflict unreasonable harm on our enemies. It's not lost on me how the tension in our text applies to the intensely painful moment we are living through right now. What's the right amount of remembering and forgetting? I wish there was an easy answer. The truth is, it's not much easier to answer this question when it comes to our individual lives and stories either. We find ourselves in the month of Elul, the month of reflection and introspection that leads us into the High Holy Days. Elul calls on us to look back and remember. Our task, to ask ourselves questions like, did I live up to my potential? Was I the version of myself I strive to be? As we reflect on our actions and behaviors, memories of an entire year begin to flood back. So much happens in the world and in our lives in a single year. While I hope many joyous memories enter our minds, we will remember struggles, challenges, and probably even some incredibly painful moments. Take a minute and close your eyes. Actually do it. Remember a moment, maybe even a difficult one. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to erase it entirely? Could you, even if you wanted to? You can open your eyes. Perhaps at its core, the tension of remembering and forgetting Amalek is a charge to engage in intentional, honest processing. Rabbi Audrey R. Karatkin says, to blot out the memory as it exists as an obstacle to pursuing your goals and your dreams, and at the same time, Zachor, lo tishkach, remember, do not forget, that it is this very memory of challenge and triumph that makes you strong and gives your life purpose. In other words, determine what parts of a story or memory hold us back, weigh us down, prevent us from moving forward or from being who we want to be in the world. Reframe the memory, refocus the story, bring out the parts that will empower us to be our best selves. Look back at that terrible breakup, that awful job, that blowout fight with your sister, the time you felt so powerless and afraid, and ask what you can learn from it. Maybe you were strong or brave. Maybe you understand your own boundaries better now because of it. Maybe you will stick up for yourself more in the future. Maybe you didn't ask for help when you could have, but next time you will. Maybe what it comes down to, as we look back on the past year and think towards the future, is that it's not possible to simply remember or forget. Memories are complicated. Life is complicated. We humans are complicated. The real work for us personally, and as the people of the book, is not to blot out or deny, but to look back and remember so that we can figure out how to tell our stories. We decide what lessons to draw from our memories, how they serve us and shape us, and what they offer future generations. If we do the inner work necessary to tell our stories well, we might even find that they leave a mark on a few new friends sitting around the table together. And so I'll ask you to turn back to your little cards so that we can sing. We are gifts and we are blessings. We are gifts.